And I almost feel like every time you're ready to like jump into this, it's like they back out. And then when they're ready, you're like, oh no, I can't see past that. It's interesting. And with the Fool here, we could be talking about, you know, the risk that's involved. But there's so much like back and forth here. So, and it's interesting the way that you come out and the way that you start kind of like looking at this connection with this person. But they don't agree with it. But it makes me wonder, how many times have you been through this like pattern? So you coming into this with the Ace of Wands, obviously there is a new passion for this person. And there's also the want to kind of like get this started, right? But with the Seven of Wands, I kind of look at that as the reason why we're looking at, like, I don't want to say a false start, but an inability to, you know, get this going, if that makes sense. Like, this is a relationship that I feel like that you've been connected with for a while, but for whatever reason, it's almost like you can't get to this place where this relationship is actually starting. For some of you, you may be starting over with this person, but the Seven of Wands for them feels like the things that they're having to deal with that are opposing this new beginning with you, because you're seeing it as passion is being restored between the two of you, as an opportunity to start again, especially with the Fool being there. But it's almost like every time, like I said, every time you jump, they're backing off. And I don't know if they ever like are that close to the edge like you are. I feel like the Fool in this case is like an inability to just kind of like leap and see what's going to happen. So you go through this whole thing of what is opposing this person or what is stopping this person. Like they're like trying to communicate that they're standing up for themselves and they're trying to do something here. It's like they need to take care of something. But you move into the Eight of Swords as far as the way that you connect with this relationship. So there's definitely the communication that's happening with the two of you, but I'm not seeing any action on this person's side, really. But for you, it's like it's right there. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to go. But for them, it's just, for whatever reason, they can't. But I'm interested in finding out why here. So you're looking at it with the Eight of Swords like there is just no way that this situation is going to move forward. That, or you see them as like always being stuck, always like finding a reason or always finding an excuse. But what they're communicating to you is how they feel about you. And I think that this is what actually kicked this off in the first place. So it's like they want to maintain communication with you about how they feel. But clearly there are some things that they haven't really thought about in terms of like what they need to deal with or what is opposing, you know, you two being able to be together. Now, moving into the Two of Pentacles, that's you keeping it in balance. You're not dropping this, but you also may be looking at them like they need to figure some stuff out. But in the meantime, you're being flexible though. And I think that that's why we're moving into the Devil on this. Now, what's interesting to me is with the Queen of Cups, I kind of get the feeling that this is how they're seeing you. Like, I can hear a conversation going on, like you're being too emotional, you know, or you're being too clingy. You know, now that's only going to be for some of you, but with the Queen of Cups here, we could be talking about you dealing with male, female, water, right? But if this is what they're internalizing, this is, I think, an inability to let go emotionally of something else. And the only reason why I say that is because you start looking at it as the devil, that this is getting to be an unhealthy situation, but more so for you. Now, if this is what's being communicated here, things are going to change really quickly with this relationship. And this person does not agree with the way that you see how things are going. Because with the Five of Wands, it's like, no. You're not seeing it right. You're not understanding. And I feel excuses. You know, I would rather see something like direct, honest, truthful communication rather than this. But we are talking about, you know, really wanting to get this going. It's like, we need to do this now, but everything else seems to be blocking this person, not you, because you're coming in open already. But because of this like pattern, I kind of feel like you continuously look at this person like they just won't ever open their eyes. And for you, it's one of those things where I think that these thoughts are surrounding you of, I got to stop bending over backwards for this person if they're not willing to move forward with me. You know, we're going to clarify the devil and your Five of Wands, but this time I'm going to be using the After Tarot for your clarification here. Because I feel like this is an ending. This isn't an end here, right? This is just the beginning of this kind of conversation, but I don't agree with the way that you're seeing things. But there is a strong feeling on your side where you're starting to realize that this is not a healthy situation. Now, that could be because of something that they can't let go of, though. And I say that because they're the ones that are showing. And then the King of Swords, which is interesting because it's like, for you, especially with the devil being there, if this is kind of how you're seeing them with this negative spin on this relationship, you may be feeling like they've completely cut off these emotions that they were communicating before, because there's this need here to release a burden and find the strength to do what's right. But I don't think that they're leaving anything. If this person still has emotional ties to somebody, they are not able to let that go. And if they're married, then they're definitely not ending the relationship here. I think that they may be looking at the situation with you as, you know, the heavy burden here. But the thing is they can't, when you look at the Ten of Wands and the Hierophant, this is, you can't stay committed to so many things before you finally get to the breaking point, you know? But I also kind of feel like you've stayed faithful to something that just isn't going anywhere, you know? And this, and like I said, this would be so different if the devil wasn't sitting there. So with Strength, the thing is I don't think that they want it to be over with. They want to release the burden that's on them. But the thing is ultimately here, they're trying to find the strength to do what's right. Well, if they're going to do what's right, that may mean cutting off emotional ties with you and dealing with whatever it is they're dealing with, whether it's another relationship or something going on with their career. You know, they may have had like a lot of different responsibilities and stuff with the Ten of Wands. Yeah. But I look at this as, you know, another conversation that you've had with them. Like, I've heard this before. And then they completely turn into, you know, someone different. They're not emotionally open or available. Now, if this is back and forth with somebody you're married to, this could be the breaking point for you, though. And this may be, you know, counsel, legal counsel, right? Especially with it being connected to justice. I mean, it just depends here. But it really looks like this person is trying to, they're struggling. They are struggling to do the right thing here. But ultimately, the way that you see it is we've been down this path before. This is nothing new. These are all the same things that you've heard before about them finding the strength to do what's right. But yet you're the one here that bent over backwards, and now you're experiencing the negative aspect of the relationship. And then you have the Three of Cups. Interesting, interesting. Why is it that you feel like there's not enough to keep this going? Oh. That are, I know, I can't say if it's you or the other person, right? Like, clearly somebody here is feeling like there's just not enough to keep the relationship going, but it's like you're getting back together with somebody here, for sure, for sure. So your King of Cups, this could be the person that you're dealing with. You know how it goes, male, female, water sign, but usually when the King of Cups shows up, and the Queen, for that matter, with this deck, somebody loves you, or you love them. But with the Empress, I have to wonder if you're dealing with an ex here that may be coming back around and trying to resurrect the relationship, so to speak, here with Judgment. I think that they're doing it because they're seeing you differently. It's not that you're like tempting them, but with the Empress, you may be feeling very good about yourself, right? Knowing your value and your worth. You know, I mean, I always see the snake in the background, right? But I think of the Empress with this one as, you know, being in a place where you've experienced enough in your love life that you know exactly what it is that you want this time. But they may be seeing you as like, you know, really attractive right now, whether you're a male or female, or whether you're dealing with a male or female. Right now we can switch that though too. But I kind of feel like this is what's external to you, right? Like I always say that with the Kings. But the Empress is huge, huge. You know, you may have moved on from this person and have been doing, you know, great in life, in relationships, right? But I don't see you like being overly interested in being committed, but things start to change. So if this person starts walking back through, right, there may not have been enough to keep things going before, but I think that that's going to become a question coming out here, because there's something healing about being with this person, right? So again, with Judgment, we're trying to clear out any kind of stagnation in the relationship, right? Clearing things out from the past. You know, Judgment, a lot of times with relationships, will point to how, you know, you came close to having it like over with for good, right? So that's kind of where the resurrection comes from. It's like a relationship that didn't completely die. Like it's kind of being brought back up. The problem is the Knight of Swords, and oh God, this one bothers me so much. This to me is just control and conquer. You know, it's another notch in the belt for someone. Now, it could just be like casually hooking up, but it's because of that kind of encounter, or somebody who is wanting to, like, I don't want to say control the relationship, but it's almost like they want to see if they can have you again, if that makes sense. But it turns into something much bigger here, especially with the Wheel of Fortune, because you're talking about, you know, positive changes that are happening here, right? But then I also think that for some of you, this was meant to happen. When you look at the Three of Cups with that, you're talking about mending the broken heart. You know, I always look at that as we're getting back together. But it's healing. There's something healing about it. But what is it that changes though? You know? And then you have the Eight of Cups. I see. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is, first of all, right, this is somebody who not only has feelings for you, but with the Emperor, it goes a little bit beyond that. I always look at the Emperor as somebody who is, you know, full of passion and wanting to follow through on that, you know. This may be somebody who is, and like I said, it's not like they're wanting to control the relationship, but it's like they're stepping up here and wanting to do something about the way that they feel about you. And that could go either way with the Empress and the Emperor. But it's interesting. And then you have this romantic like twist here with the King of Cups. This could be somebody who is like really starting to realize the way that they feel. But I almost feel like for Gemini, especially if you're the female in this situation, you've moved on. You know, but the thing is that the connection is there. It is there, right? So Strength immediately for me had the feeling of trying to, you know, keep your inner strength when it comes to getting involved with this person beyond the physical contact. Like, you don't want this relationship to go to the next level here. I don't think that that's something that you're interested in. And you show that with the Eight of Cups, because this is somebody who is definitely feeling it for sure, but they're being a little bit too pushy, right? Like, it's almost like what I feel like here is that somebody wants the other person to express love to them that may not fully be there, if that makes sense. You know, but I could see, like, like I said, especially if this is the person that you've moved on from, them being like really pushy and trying to get you back in, you know, You may have the physical contact, and there is the possibility of a resurrection with this relationship, but I don't think that you're ready to see if it's going to go any further than that. You know, but things could change with the wheel, right? Because there is something healing about the connection, but you're still kind of like holding off your emotional side. It's like you're not ready to be there with that person just yet. But they're already there. It's like they woke up and just realized that they had feelings for you. It's like, what the hell? But it may not be enough for you anymore. And then you have the Nine of Cups. Wow, this isn't bad at all. So for those of you who are in a relationship, trust that this is going to get better, that you are going to get what you want from this relationship. So with the Two of Swords kicking this off, this is about an offer that's being turned down or rejected. And with the Ten of Pentacles, I kind of had the feeling that, first of all, this one's about self-reflection, but we're also talking about, you know, somebody that you have been with for some time. So this may actually be one of those things where it's like, you know, are we gonna like get married, or we've been messing around for so long, are we gonna commit, right? But if the offer is turned down with the Ten of Pentacles, really it's you kind of like looking at who you are within the relationship. Is this who you really are? Now, there may have been this like turn down, but then you move into this place with the Three of Wands and the Two of Wands where the connection starts to come back, where it may have been lost because you may not have, you know, gotten what you wanted here. But this isn't a Six of Pentacles type of thing here. This is like, you know, you've been with this person for some time, I think. But like certain things just are not what either you want or they want. But I feel like it's you looking at yourself. You know, is this who I really am? But with the Three of Wands, you feel the same way about each other. With the Two of Wands, there's the flirting and getting to know each other. It's like knowing each other all over again. And then you have the World, this really like happy, complete relationship. The World is always about a relationship that makes you feel complete, makes you feel whole. It's everything you could have ever wanted. In the Nine of Cups, we're talking about happy, happy, happy. Like in love and happy in love. And it's interesting because it kind of feels like you may not have had that before, but something is like being rekindled between the two of you. So, and I don't think that, because I'm not seeing anything here that's suggesting cheating, meeting somebody else, anything like that, right? And you're being told to trust, have faith with this relationship, right? So with the Page of Wands, I think that the reason why you're kind of like looking at yourself, is this really who I am, is because there are some things that you've chosen to look past about this person. The Page of Wands is always about looking past appearances. So it's like you know something about this person, but you're making the choice to look past that. But it makes you question on, you know, is this really who I am? Is this really, you know, the relationship that I see myself being in, right? For the rest of my life, going into the world, basically. Now, with the Nine of Pentacles, what's interesting here is that I think that, like I said before, this is going to be for those of you who, you know, technically, yeah, you are coupled, right? Because you've been with this person, maybe not exactly like living together, but like you have a physical and an emotional connection with this person that has been there for some time. And with the Nine of Pentacles, it's almost like, well, this is one of those relationships where it's like, well, yeah, you know, I see this person and, you know, we do things, right? But we're not really like relationship. Like it's not Facebook official, right? Like people don't go, oh yeah, those two are together. It's more of like, yeah, oh, those two mess around with each other all the time. You know what I mean? Because the Nine of Pentacles is not a relationship that is defined. It's always about, you know, not really calling it a relationship, or somebody not wanting anybody to know that that's what they're doing. But the level of obsession comes in with the cutting of the hair. It's almost like somebody saying, fine, if it can't be that, then I will take what I can get. But they're not willing to let you go. You know, or it could be the other way around. But the more that you connect and the more that there is this conversation, the more that, you know, you're doing things where you're actually knowing each other, there's like this spark. And I think that this person like starts to become very, very happy. Not just them, but you too. But the thing is with the Queen of Wands, I think that that's you, Gemini. And I think that that is you not wanting to let them completely in just yet. It's funny because it's kind of like hard to get, right? Like, this is what you wanted before. And it's like now they're starting to show that they want to go the long haul. Right? But trust, right? Trust that this is going to give you exactly what you want.